Hello students, welcome to my class. So we will be continuing with reduction reactions that we're studying in previous videos. So the next topic is reduction. We are studying about few more different type of reducing agent. We already studied about how metal hydrides like lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride can be used as reducing agent, and we also studied about homogeneous and heterogeneous catalysis. Now we are going to study about few more reagents that are used to carry out reduction. One more is dibal. As you can see, the reduction of ester and nitriles, it can be carried out by dibal, and this reduction is done at lower temperatures. So usually esters and nitriles, it's a very selective reducing agent. It reduces the esters and nitriles both to aldehyde, and this reduction is done usually at lower temperature. One more method of reduction is reduction using dissolving metal. That is, we are dissolving some metals in protic solvents. When some metals dissolved in protic solvent can also make an organic compound undergo reduction. So how is this happening is that dissolving metals in protic solvents, they can also be used as reducing agent. How is the mechanism? Mechanism involves two steps, that is, metal they transfer electron to that organic compound, and this is followed by transfer of proton from the protic solvent. So what are the examples of some of the metals that we're using here is we can use zinc, tin, iron, magnesium, sodium, potassium, etc. And protic solvents like ethyl alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, or tertiary butyl alcohols, they are all used. Why do we need a protic solvent here? Because it has to transfer the proton in step number 2. And what does the metal do? What is the importance of metal here? It transfers electrons. So this whole process, that is using a metal dissolved in a protic solvent as a reducing agent, reduction happens in two steps. One is the metal, it transfers electron, one of its electron, and in the second step what happens, there is a transfer of a proton from the protic solvent. So we are specifically using a protic solvent. Okay, so mechanism, as I said, involves two steps: transfer of electron from the metal to the substrate, giving a radical anion. Okay, that is, an anion having a minus charge will be created once electron is transferred, and that radical anion is protonated from the solvent. That is, a proton, that is H plus ion, is given to that radical anion from the solvent. In the absence of a proton donor, that is, if we take only the metal and the protic solvent is not there, what happens? Two anions, that is, if many organic compounds are present, two of them will undergo dimerization. What is dimerization, students? Many monomers come together to form a dimer, correct? So they will undergo dimerization, that is combined with each other. So that happens only when there is no proton donor, or if we are doing this reaction in the absence of a protic solvent. But if we take a protic solvent, then dimerization will not take place. See here, some of the examples are given. Here, some of the examples are given, that is acetophenone. It's a ketone. When sodium metal is taken in the presence of an alcohol, what do we get? We get an alcohol. Same way, cyanide group is reduced to amine groups, and aldehydes are reduced to alcohols. So here is an explanation. As I said, the two mechanism, this is an explanation of the mechanism. Now here you can see we have taken a ketonic compound. How does this reaction proceeds? Now you know that, students, if we write on any species, if we write a minus, it means that it has a pair of electrons, that is two dots on itself, correct? And if we write only one dot, what does it mean? It means that it is a free radical. So it is electron, it is short of one electron. One dot meaning to say it is having odd pair of electron, or it is a free radical. And minus meaning to say it has a pair of electrons. Plus meaning to say, what is plus sign on any species indicate? It does not have both the electrons. Okay, yeah, H plus means does not have even one electron for bond formation. It is completely electron deficient. So now here you see what happens. First we are taking this ketonic compound. You can see a carbonyl group is there. So as always, the first step will be this pi bond shifts onto oxygen, gives a minus charge on oxygen, and a plus charge is accumulated on carbon. Correct. After that, step number one, that is transfer of electron from metal to the substrate. Now metal here we are taking is sodium metal. Sodium usually it dissociates to give Na plus and one electron, correct? But here it is not like that. Sodium has two electrons now on itself. Out of the two electron it will give only one electron. Okay, so it has given that one electron here. So you can see that dot in the on carbon, meaning to say this one electron is given by sodium here. Now how many electrons is sodium left with? It still has one more electron. Okay, so the sodium, it gives one electron. So here one of the sodium gives one electrons here, transfer of one electron takes place. Now we will talk about this later, dimerization. That is an exceptional case when we are not doing this reaction in the presence of a protic solvent. Now if we do it in the presence of protic solvent, what happens? This one electron actually, this structure can also exist in this form, that is this minus charge can be on carbon and this dot can be on oxygen. So this structure can exist in this form also, it can exist in this form also. So when it exists in this form, the minus sign will come on the carbon and the dot, that is an odd electron, will go to the oxygen. Okay, and next, what is the next step, students? Radical anion is protonated from the solvent. Now this is a radical anion that we have, and you know that there is a minus charge on carbon. So we are taking a solvent like alcohol. We have taken a primary alcohol here, and H plus ion is given by this alcohol. That H plus ion will come, and since there is a minus charge on the carbon, it will come and occupy this position. So we will get something like this. So there we complete two steps. First step is, one is carbonyl, this bond shifts and carbon gets a plus charge, oxygen gets a minus charge. Next, sodium gives one of its electron. That electron will come and sit on carbon as an odd electron. Then this structure can exist in another form like this, wherein that electron is transferred to the oxygen and the minus charge on oxygen is transferred to carbon. Okay, because carbon in the next step has minus charge, H plus ion is given by the protic solvent, it's taken and H occupies this position. This reaction can still continue. There is sufficient sodium ions in the reaction medium, correct? We are not taking only one sodium ion. So one more sodium ion will give another electron here. One more electron is given by the second sodium ion to the oxygen atom. Okay, so oxygen atom had already one electron, one more is given, so now it will get a negative charge on itself. Once again, from the protic solvent there is a H plus ions given, and one more H plus will go and accumulate on oxygen this time, because oxygen has a minus charge, and finally we'll get our alcohol molecule. So this is the reaction mechanism. Twice that step is repeated, where sodium is giving one electron and then uh, the protic solvent is protonating the organic compound. So in case we are not doing this reaction in the presence of a protic solvent, or we do not have a proton donor, this can happen. That is the radical anion. This is called as a radical anion because there is a minus charge here, correct? Radical anion can undergo dimerization with another of the radical anion, because there are many radical anions that are formed in the solution. So this will combine with one another of the same species, so we will get a dimeric form like this. That is, one more species having the C dot here will come and combine. See, this was one part, and this was another part that was there in the solution. So both of it had C dot and C dot. Both of them will come together, C dot and C dot, so they can form a bond, correct? By sharing of electrons. So they will share the electron and form a bond with each other, and formation of dimer takes place because proton is not there in the solution. So that happens only when there is an absence of a proton in the solution. So this is a reaction mechanism. The application of using sodium in alcohol or any metal in protic solvent is that it can reduce the functional group in the presence of an isolated double bond without reducing the double bond. So only the functional group can be reduced in while taking this because it is a very selective reducing agent. It will only reduce the functional group and leave the double bond as such. So here is an example of how it is reducing only the functional group. Here you can see has undergone reduction to CH2OH and the isolated double bond is retained as such. So this is one of the application of using sodium in alcohol. So in case of ketones, we studied how is a reduction in the presence of sodium in alcohol. Next, we are studying mechanism. That's the same thing even for ester. How is a reduction mechanism taking place? How is ester reduced to alcohol? So we are taking an ester here in the presence of sodium in a protonated solvent. That is metal in a protonated solvent. How does it reduce the ester to an alcohol? So what is the first step here? First step is always there is a carbonyl group. So the double bond shifts on the oxygen gets a minus charge and carbon gets a plus charge, or carbon becomes electron deficient. The next step is what? The metal that is present in the solution, here sodium, gives one electron to it, so there will be a dot on the carbon here. And what happens here? So since we are doing this reaction in protonated solvent, proton donation takes place from the protic solvent. We'll give one proton or H plus ion, and here since oxygen has a minus charge, that H plus will go and accumulate over here, so we will get OH. And once again there is one more sodium that is present in the reaction medium, will give one electron to the carbon. Now carbon already has one odd electron, and second electron is given by the second sodium metal from the solution. So because of getting two electrons, now carbon will get a minus charge. And once again there is we are doing this reaction in protic solvent. The protic solvent will donate one more H plus ion, this time to the carbon. So we will get an intermediate like this. Now here in this intermediate there is elimination of ETOH, that is this bond will break here, and here the double bond will shift between carbon and oxygen, and H will go out as H plus. So there is an elimination of ETOH and we will get this compound, that is a an aldehyde, RC double bond O bond H. Okay, and then once again this aldehyde has to be further reduced to an alcohol. So once again there's a shift here. Oxygen gets a minus charge and carbon gets a plus charge. The pi bond shifts. The third sodium metal in the reaction medium will transfer one electron to carbon. Carbon will get an odd electron, and we are doing this in protic solvent. So one of the H gets transferred onto oxygen because oxygen has a minus charge. So here we get OH. And finally, a fourth sodium metal from the solution will transfer one more odd electron to carbon, and that's why now carbon has two electrons in total after this is being transferred. So carbon gets a minus charge, and once again protic solvent gives one H plus here, and hence we get one H here. So esters are first converted into aldehydes, and then aldehydes are further reduced to alcohol. That's how it takes place. The reaction mechanism of ester getting converted or getting reduced to alcohol in the presence of sodium in alcohol. And cycloketo compounds can also be reduced into compounds having equatorial alcohol as equatorial groups, okay, in equatorial position. And next is reduction of alkynes with sodium. So one more reagent that we are using for reduction is sodium in liquid ammonia in the presence of alcohol. Now here this alkyne species on reduction with sodium in liquid ammonia will give you a transalkene. How is the mechanism of this reaction is? Step number one, what happens? We are taking alkyne and there is a formation of anion radical or radical anion. Okay, radical anion means it has both free radical and one anion. that is one minus charge on itself. So what happens first, there is three bonds here. One of the pi bonds will shift on either of the carbons. Say it shifts on carbon number 1, so carbon number 1 will get a minus charge and carbon number 2 will actually have a plus charge, and because there is sodium metal, it will give one of its electrons here to carbon number 2, so carbon number 2 will get a dot on itself, that is it becomes a free radical. So this is a radical anion that we got. So in the next step what happens, there protonation of this radical anion takes place because we are doing it in liquid ammonia. There is NH3 in the reaction medium which gives one proton, that is H plus, to here, that is the anionic part, the carbon having the minus charge gets one proton. So here you can see a carbon has R and H, okay, and this part is kept as such, and this is called as a vinylic radical. In the third step what happens, the vinylic radical receives electron from sodium to give an anion, to become an anion. So here this is a vinylic radical obtained in step number 2. Once again one more sodium metal present in the reaction medium will give another electron, so it will become an anion, and this anion is stabilized when there are bulky groups trans to it. So in trans position, if there are bulky groups present, then this anion will be stabilized. And the last step, that is step number 4, what happens, protonation of this anion takes place from liquid ammonia, that is NH3 will give one proton here, you can see, and we will get this trans alkene species. So sodium in liquid ammonia, it cannot reduce isolated double bond, but it can reduce conjugated double bond. So now this double bond cannot be further reduced to single bond because this is a isolated double bond, so we cannot reduce it further. But if this was there in conjugation, that is if there was a double bond, single bond, then double bond again, so that is said to be in conjugation with one another. So it can always reduce conjugated species, but it cannot reduce isolated double bonds. Next we'll also be studying about conjugated species. So we'll see reduction in case of a conjugated system. So this is a conjugated system here. We have taken an example, reduction of alpha beta unsaturated ketone to, it gives you a saturated ketone. Okay, there is alpha beta unsaturated ketone that we're taking, that is this one. It gives you a saturated ketone. Now you can say that this is a conjugated species. Why do we say that? Because you can see here that the double bond and single bond, they are present in conjugation with one another. That is, there is alternate double and single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond. Same with this side also, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond. So they are, and single bond, so they are present in conjugation with one another. So this is called as a conjugated system. So sodium in liquid ammonia, as we discussed previously, it can reduce, it cannot, although it cannot reduce isolated double bonds, but it can reduce the conjugated system, correct? So we are taking sodium in liquid ammonia, it will give us a saturated ketone, okay. But you all know that whenever we are doing reduction of ketone, we end up getting alcohol. So you might get a doubt, why is it that in this case we are getting a saturated ketone but not an alcohol as a final product? That will be told further. Once we understand the reaction mechanism, you'll understand why we are not getting the final product as an alcohol but a ketone is obtained. Now let us understand the reaction mechanism. I am taking this unsaturated ketone, okay, alpha beta unsaturated ketone, one example we are taking. What happens here, observe carefully that we'll name the carbons first, that time it will be easy. This is carbon number 1, this is carbon number 2, carbon number 3, carbon number 4. So we have 4 carbons, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and initially there's a double bond that is present between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3, correct? So what happens is that double bond splits or breaks in such a way that both of the carbon gets one electron each, that is both of them will get a dot on itself. Dot means what? They have one odd electron. So this double bond, usually what we do, we shift both the electrons of the bond on either one of the carbons, correct? But here, since both have same electronegativity values, what happens is bond shifts breaks in such a way that, so I have written two arrows here, that is telling us that this bond breaks in such a way that both of them get a dot on itself. So carbon number 2 now has a dot on itself, and carbon number 3 also has a dot or an electron, one odd electron on itself. Next, what happens is there is sodium, or you can also take lithium ion. It will give one electron to carbon number 2 here. So carbon number 2 will take, already has one electron and takes up this one more electron given by lithium. So it will get a minus charge on itself because it will get two electrons. So you can also show it as two electrons, or for your convenience, you know that two electron means we represent it by minus, correct? So you can also write it as minus. Now what has happened to carbon number 3? It already has one electron. Okay, so this bond, there is carbon number 4 here, and carbon number 4 has a double bond with oxygen here. That is, a carbonyl group is there, correct? C double bond O. Once again, the pi bond here, or the double bond, again same way breaks in such a way that oxygen gets one dot and carbon here gets one dot or one electron. So now carbon number 3 here has one dot and carbon number 4 has one dot, so they can form a bond with each other. So there is a new bond formation between carbon number 3 and carbon number 4, as you can see here. Carbon number 3, carbon number 4 have formed a bond with each other. How? There was a double bond here, and that bond broke in such a way that oxygen would get one odd electron and this carbon got one odd electron, and carbon number 3 already had one odd electron, so they formed a bond with each other. That is, carbon number 3 and 4, they formed a bond with each other. Now here, once again, oxygen has got an odd pair of electron and there is lithium present in the reaction medium. It will give one of its electron. So oxygen now will have a minus charge on itself. Next, what? Since we are doing this in the presence of a protic solvent, there is proton donation from alcohol. ROH is there in the reaction medium. It will give us the proton, and one proton will be donated to carbon number 2 here. So here we are adding one H and writing. That is next step. And along with that, since there is a minus charge on oxygen, it shifts between carbon and oxygen here. This bond shifts between this oxygen and this carbon, and once this bond shifts here, this carbon's valency will become 5. 1 2 3 and 4 5, because there is a double bond formation here. So what does it do? This bond is shifted on to the next carbon, that is carbon number 3. So carbon number 3 will get a minus charge on itself, and there is a double bond formation between this carbon and oxygen. Next, since there is a minus charge here, once again there is protonation taking place, that is ROH once again protonates this reaction, and here H will come and attach over here because there is a minus sign here. See now here, students, very important. Here this shifting is very important. Directly it won't get protonated and one H won't be added here. If we add one H here, then what do we end up with? We will get an alcohol, but we want to get a ketone only. We want to get a saturated ketone. So now here you can see the ketonic group is there as such. It will not undergo reduction, we will not get alcohol here. So this is the overall reaction, that is unsaturated ketone to saturated ketone is obtained. Why don't we get an alcohol here is that here the ammonium ion will destroy the solvated electron, otherwise the ketone will be further reduced to alcohol. So the ketone that is obtained, it can undergo further reduction to alcohol, but what happens is that because we are doing this reaction in the presence of ammonia, so here the ammonium ion, they will surround the electron that is present, solvated electron in the reaction medium. They will surround it and they will destroy it to prevent the further reduction to alcohol. That is the reason why it does not undergo further reduction to alcohol. Thus the reduction, it stops at the ketonic stage. So this is about reduction in the presence of metal in protic solvents. I will end this video here. Thank you for attending my class. Take care and bye.